Okay, so welcome again, and let's go through the key gates of the larger system at play, right? And please remember, blitzscaling would mean various channels coming together, all right, in an automated format, retargeting people who are not part of the other activities that you did. And then when you're addressing and creating new digital assets, how you can use the funnels automatically again and make sure that the retargeted zone is met with very well, because you know you've done analysis on your click funnel, on rather on your funnels, and that you have a clear and concise idea of the persona of people that you're targeting through, both from a new digital assets, new niche, or the diversification you're going through. Okay, or also you might also know the connect through the people that you want to connect to others that come into existence. All right, if you remember that some of the people itself are influencers, or some of the your targeted audience itself you've gone through understanding their other zones and elements, right? Remember we talked about the kids, which we said was not the right example, but then we said that they're part of some company which could be of help to you, right? And so on and so forth. So that could be your target audience itself. Okay, with that said, because some of your funnels, if you have the in the right levels of your membership with those platforms of ClickFunnels and the others, they will allow you to rate and rate each of the funnels, rather ingredients of the funnels accordingly, and also help you remark them so that you can classify them accordingly. Okay, so it goes to that depth. Now, with that said, let's jump into the system once again so that you are very clear which applications, which interfaces, which APIs to be used, so that you can help in proliferate by using the blitzscaling scheme of things. Okay, so we just discussed in the previous day on the activate, right? How we use RFM system with the relevant gates, which help you activate your leads into addressable funnel. Okay. Here we'll again quickly address the activate points. What we discussed. We discussed that we'll use one of these WordPress related or ConvertKit or a Zoom or a Demio for your website building activities, your blogs, your vlogs, or your communication elements of webinar and creating landing pages and so on and so forth, right? So for landing pages, you'll use maybe a ConvertKit or your maybe even a sales a ClickFunnels or one of those, right? But typically ConvertKit has been suggested through. And then for webinar, you use a Zoom or a Demio. I use Zoom as mentioned earlier. For communication purposes, you use various chatbots and you use various platforms for doing that. Okay, in form of email systems or blasting the email systems or using a sequence of events through either a get response or a ConvertKit and one of those. Okay, but ConvertKit is suggested, of course. Then website and website can be built through using Orient Express or WordPress or one of those, or earlier times we discussed GoDaddy to be used because they have a facilitation of taking a domain and the website and the hosting space from them and give you WordPress free of course, which you can build your themes onto. Okay, so and again, if you've not done this, please do this. Okay, it is required. It doesn't work without that. And then from the website perspective, then there are blogs and the vlogs, right? Which can be created either on a YouTube channel where you're doing, using Movavi or the others for making these things, or you create blogs by the blogging sites or your website itself. So these are all that elements. So once you do that, you get your customers, you use social media for getting in the details, you pass on the lead activities, right? Or make some of them use your tripwires or your lead magnets to start consuming your digital assets to some extent. And then you automatically track them using ClickMagick, which will then create your funnels, right? The funnels are created in the hub as we discussed, right? While using ClickFunnels or one of those, right? So FB, so the marketing campaigns are run in FB or Google or one of those ad-oriented platforms that we discussed earlier. We use ConvertKit or FB Pixels or ClickFunnels through to create funnels out of those elements, and then we use FB and your mighty networks for creating a community, and then we create your lead segregation using ClickFunnels, right, or ClickMagick, right, which is tracking this true. And all this happens in the system and the control hub, right? Why? Because you have ClickMagick and ClickFunnels or FB analysis or a Google analysis providing you with enough data for all of these, which will help you put a feedback mechanism and the reports in place, which you will use to tweak your current either funnels or lead generation engines or whatever that you want to change to get better results. Okay, and then of course in the process you're managing your respective resources from a CTA point of view, right? Otherwise you can go haywire with the budget itself. So using all this, right, typically the applications and the platform mentioned are good enough to get connected with each other. But once you've done this, the next level of connectivity is Zapier. Okay, because once you move into advanced levels from here, which you should, right? Because the feedback I'm getting is probably not to that level, hence the purpose of still living, remaining where we are. We'll go through the Zapier ones in our, again, practical sessions, but you use all these as a central hub for Zapier, where it's a hub and spoke model, right? Where anything from one end comes to Zapier as a hook, and that is being used in the respective outcome that for funnel making activities. Okay, so instead of putting codes in various other landing pages and the outcome of that into the next step and so on and so forth, Zapier can start doing it from the first distance itself, right? And then you can get into complex sequencing and other activities. So that is what will then you can leave the system for doing on its own, right? Once you've done the setups and the integrations, right? For integration, that requires a little focus, and we'll do that during a practical session once you come to that point where you finish your challenges and other activities, and we start taking it from that point of view, right? Now, once all this is done, right, we discuss the funnel. The funnel then creates traffic is created at the L1 level, which is activation, that is activate. The lead gen activity happens as a participation from the various ClickFunnels activities or the ClickMagick activities, and the ConvertKit itself helps in doing that, right? So the lead that is getting converted from your traffic is then used for funnelizing, which we discussed how by putting in segregated funnels by using ClickFunnels and other applications. And then once everything is automated through, you then put omnichannel in play to start blitzscaling. Omnichannel, as we discussed, is not only the specific channels of social media that we talked about. It includes various other elements, right, which will help you build your funneling activity to go about creating automated retargeting and other elements, so that once it is done, it's a holistic system which doesn't let loose any of the traffic coming your way. So traffic itself is a retargeting system, right? Now, if you remember in the funnelizing of the traffic, we said some 25% get converted, etc., but 75% still becomes a retargeted audience, right, for you. So whatever you do then for that traffic will continue to happen, but the retargeting happens again. Got it? So it goes right up till the bottom level where the convert happens. So everybody is followed through so that your cycle of infinity continues, but you start improving it, right? The whole abundance and infinity related loops still come to existence for the CI, that is continuous improvement. Okay, so this is your the system that will work through, and the reason for the working with the gates that we just discussed through. Okay, RFMs will be again managed because just for a refresher, right? You just went through it. These are the gates in the RFM system, which is the part of activate that we discussed. And I will not go again through details. This is just for reference. Since we talked about activate and how it works, this is what goes into play. Okay. With that, we come to an end of maybe system setup, and so the 7th day of blitzscaling. We now move into the community building methodology. Okay. So come prepared. I'll see you on the 8th day.